You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast. Your source for the best information and insight when it comes to sports wagering. We cover it all because you bet on it all. So let's head up to the studio and get this show rolling.
Welcome, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast. I am Easy Money, Eric LaFleche, along with my co-host, the Irish Insider, Patrick J. Brooks. What is happening, Patrick?
That's right, man. Again, Thursday night. No, wait, Wednesday night. I'm sorry, Thanksgiving Eve. Normally we're doing Thursday. Tonight, well, tomorrow's Turkey Day, folks, so we're going to take a day off. We won't take a day off, cashing tickets. We're going to take a day off from the show. Yeah, I'm doing good, Eric. Listen, happy Thanksgiving Eve to you and your family and all our listeners out there. Thanks for spending Wednesday night with us here. Okay, before we get to the agenda and some of the things, all right, the bet that I have right now is over under naps tomorrow, all right? 45 minutes over is minus 115 to me. An under 45-minute power nap is plus 100. What are you taking?
I'm taking the power nap plus 100.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen, after the turkey hits the belly, there has to be a power nap. It has to be, right?
Hey, they said it's the power of the tryptophan, so who knows?
There you go.
I'm not even sure it's a real thing, but that's what everybody blames it on. So
yeah, that's it.
We'll go with it.
And maybe it's going to be because of some of the games tomorrow are going to be kind of stinkers, but there will be a nap at some point. But regardless of the game, there's always money to be made. That's what we say here. So, hey, last week, Eric, again, I'm going to pat you on the back around the corner here at the studio, but 7 and a Hook Podcast, we went 16 and 11 on air again. Okay, another winning week. The week prior, Eric, our combined was 24 and 8. Listen, we're giving out free money. That's what we like to say. It's no money down. Just tune into the show, and guess what? You're cashing tickets, right?
Absolutely, man. I mean, people have made lots of money with us this year, and we keep on rolling along. And when you got the insiders all spread out along the United States and all these infiltrated all these teams, and it's easy to get some inside information. And that's what 7 and a Hook Podcast has. And of course you can find us on all the socials, as you mentioned earlier. 7andahook.com is the website. That's 7andahook.com.
Yeah.
So we got we're heading into week 12 of the NFL already, dude. Week
crazy
12.
Crazy. This year is flying. I mean, and it's probably because we've been doing the show. It just seems to be moving quicker. But you know what? When you're making money, I don't care how fast it goes. It's a beautiful thing. So
absolutely.
Listen, last week, your best bet, the Bucks and under when they played the Giants, 10 and a hook and under 49 and a hook. You had that great call.
So
great call.
Okay? I'm going to pull the curtain back just a touch, Patrick, on that. And here's a memo to all the sports bettors in Vegas and whatnot. When you're playing the Giants, always take the under because they can't score.
They can't score.
Giants are not going to help you out towards the spread. So take the under.
No. Listen, that was a rough game for the G-men. I mean, but you called it. You said they weren't going to score. They didn't score. So Listen, his best bet hit. My best bet hit. I had the Colts going into Buffalo, getting 7.
Yeah.
And they trounced them 41-15. So both best bets hit last week. So listen, folks, tune in. We got some good picks coming today. All right. So anyways, let's get to tonight's agenda. What's on the menu, right? Little pre-Thanksgiving meal. We're going to focus again. We're going to start with the NFL. We've got 3 spotlight picks, myself and Easy Money. And out of those 3 each, we are going to cover all the Turkey Day games. So we got all those covered for you tomorrow. We're going to move to a little NBA. Eric's going to break down a couple games he's got on the board. Probably talk a little bit of boxing, too. He's the sweet science guru. We're going to end with a little college football. All right. So, Eric, let's go right to the NFL. What do you have as your first spotlight play?
All right. Well, we'll tune tomorrow's game. Of course, Dallas is usually part of the Thanksgiving festivities, and 2021 is no different. The Las Vegas Raiders on the road visiting the Dallas Cowboys at beautiful AT&T Stadium, which if you haven't got out there, folks, it's second to none. I mean, I don't know about SoFi and all the newer stadiums, right? But AT&T is fantastic. Dallas favored by 7.5. Over under 51.5. Raiders, tale of two teams, I'd say, man. They started out 5-2, lost 3 straight.
Yeah.
Haven't looked good in those losses. Dallas is 4-1 at home. Raiders coming in with a 25th ranked defense against the rush. They're 6th ranked against the pass, which you got Zeke Elliott for Dallas. He's coming off a little bit of he's nursing a little bit of a knee injury. You do have Tolland. Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. He's turned into absolutely an NFL MVP candidate. Last week, a little bit of a hiccup against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Prescott went 28 for 43, 216, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Cowboys as a team last week, they're hoping to forget it this week. They had 276 total yards as a team. So look for a rebound against the Raiders. Raiders are reeling a little bit. Carr to Waller is still a good matchup. It's still a good potent target for Derek Carr. Running game, yeah, as far as Jacobs goes, that's your running game. So it's really Raiders are trying to find themselves, I think. Dallas, number 1 ranked offense in the league. So to make a long story short, Dallas is going to cover that 7.5, and I'm taking the over as well on that 51.5. Dallas is going to put up a lot of points. They usually have a really good outing on Thanksgiving, and I don't think this week's going to be any different.
Yeah, you know what? You thought that the absence of Gruden wasn't going to hurt him, but Ruggs was going to be the difference. And so far you've been right, man. Without him in the offense, the Raiders have been kind of not quiet, but they're not explosive. And
right.
he spread the field, Eric. You called it. Without him, it was going to hurt. You know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to my first spotlight play, and it is a Turkey Day game also. It's the Chicago Bears -3 on the road, and they travel to take on the Detroit Lions. Points total set at 41.5. Okay, Bears come into this game 3-7. They're 1-4 on the road. They're losers of 5 straight. Now, last week they lost 16-13 to the Ravens, and that was a Lamar Jackson-less Ravens team, right? So you figure if you got a shot at beating the Ravens, it's when Lamar Jackson isn't playing. And it was Tyler Huntley out of Utah, formerly Utah Utes,
undrafted free agent.
Behind. Yeah, I mean, if you can't beat them then, maybe you're never going to beat them. But now Justin Fields, he also got knocked out of the game last week, Eric, with a rib injury. Now they're not broken. Andy Dalton came in. Again, played as a backup, normally would, serviceable, didn't really hurt him, but didn't really help him. Well, Justin's out again this week, so Andy Dalton does get the start, okay? Now, let's look at the Detroit Lions. Ofer, all right? 0-9-1, only team in the NFL without a win. Last week, they lost 13-10 to a banged-up Cleveland Browns team. Now, they lost. Jared Goff was not playing last week. He had an oblique injury. So they had Tim Boyle out of Eastern Kentucky, leading the team, and didn't make a difference. They still lost. Okay. Now, you talked about feet on the street. Well, we got some moles out there, and they said that Goff is going to play tomorrow. Okay. So what does that mean? It means the Lions are still not that good, but they're good enough here, Eric. They're good enough here, and I've bet them a few times this year. Now they haven't won a game, but they've covered a lot of games. Okay, now they're getting 3 points at home. Okay, it's Thanksgiving Day. This is it, right? If there's a game that they're going to cover, maybe even win, it's this. Okay, I like the Lions in this spot. I'm going to take the 3 points, and as far as the points total, 41.5. I think you're going to see some points here. You got two teams that really aren't going anywhere. So let it rip. Let's see what happens. So I like the Lions +3, and I'm going over the 41.5.
Well, you're pretty optimistic. I don't think the Bears nor the Lions, quite honestly, have the offensive power to air it out, to put any sort of amount of points on the board. I would take the under, but I respect your pick. I mean, I do agree that Detroit's not going to get much of a better opportunity to not only cover but win.
Yeah.
So, what are they against the spread this year? Any idea?
About 500 actually. So
Okay, well,
again, if you get them in the right spot,
Yeah.
if you get them in the right spot, you
Yeah.
can make some money. So yeah.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to Cheeseland, Lambeau Field. The LA Rams travel all the way to Wisconsin. Rams coming in at 7-3, but they're 4-6 against the spread. They're fighting against Green Bay, 8-3, 9-2 against the spread. Green Bay comes in. These teams are so evenly matched. Green Bay comes in at a 1 point. They give a 1 point to the Rams. Over/under is 47 and a hook. Now, Rodgers, the reigning NFL MVP, of course, controversy with the COVID virus in the last couple of weeks. His credibility's gone a little bit down. He's a little bit, relying on Joe Rogan a little bit too much, possibly. But in all concerning news, he is nursing a fractured toe. I wonder if he went to Rogan for the toe, or did he go to a doctor? I wonder.
No, I
think he probably went to a doctor.
He probably went to a doctor.
Yeah, I would say Aaron Jones, though, running back Aaron Jones for the Packers, is back. Rams rolling in, 6th-ranked offense in the league. They average 337.2 yards per game. What a great story. This, you and I had so much talk about this in the offseason, about the change with Goff and Stafford between the Rams and Lions. And I wasn't sold because I thought Stafford had so much mileage on him. But boy, does he look rejuvenated or what?
He does, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So, yeah, Rams roll in with a 6th-ranked offense. Green Bay sporting the 7th-ranked defense. So it's going to be a battle of wills. And I mean, how does Rodgers improve on last week's performance against the Vikings? He had a 148.4 QBR, 385 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, almost a flawless performance. So I don't know how he does improve on that. I think the weather's going to hurt the Rams more than they think it's going to hurt them. Yeah, Stafford does have some cold weather playing up in Detroit and stuff, but I think that this is almost a push. Rams and Green Bay. It's -1. I saw some lines that it was a hook, half a point. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm gonna go Green Bay, and I think like you with the Lions and Bears, I think that I'm gonna take the over. 47 and a hook for these two teams. It's just not enough. So Green Bay, they're gonna win it outright, and the over.
The over. Okay. All right. Good breakdown. Good break. Yeah, I see some points in that game too, no doubt. All right. My next spotlight game, another Turkey Day game. We got the Buffalo Bills favored by 6 and a hook on the road to take on the New Orleans Saints. Points total at 45. All right. The Bills come into this game 6-4, 2-2 on the road. Last week, as I already mentioned, they were kind of run out of their own building by the Colts, 41-15. And don't look now, but the Bills, Eric, are looking up again to the Patriots. They are now in second place in the AFC East. In 4 weeks, talk about the world being upside down.
I don't know what Buffalo Bills team we're going to see week to week.
That's what we do here. It's hard to predict, but we do it. We've been making money betting against the Bills, believe it or not. But let me finish the pick, and maybe I'm going to bet against them again. I don't know yet. So, all right. So obviously, Josh Allen. The Bills go as Josh Allen goes. We've said it all year. Well, he only put up about 200 yards last week against the Colts. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, Eric. That's the difference. He's turning the ball over. You can't do that. Can't do that in the NFL. And you know what? It wasn't so much the Colts passing game, because Wentz only threw for about 200 yards himself. It was their running game. Jonathan Taylor, you mentioned it. You talked about it.
He's incredible.
He was a monster. 185 yards on the ground, Eric. 4 touchdowns.
He's the league's leading rusher. So That tells you something.
Yeah, he was a one-man wrecking crew.
And I can tell you
that's what he was last
the
week.
Indianapolis
Okay?
Colts' offensive line is not as stout as you would think
Nope.
with having the leads league in Russia. So that tells you what kind of he creates his own holes. He's a special back for sure.
He's a man among boys some nights, and he definitely was last week. All right, let's look at the Saints. They come into this game 5-5. They're 2-2 at home. Now they're losers of 3 straight. Okay, Jameis Winston, he's been out for the season, and it's starting to catch up with him. Okay, I didn't think he was that big a key in their success, but he is, Eric. They've lost that something. They've lost that energy. I don't know what it is. Now Trevor Siemian hasn't really been playing bad. Okay, he's not the reason they're losing, but I think he's the reason they're not winning. You know what I mean? He's a quarterback. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't rally the troops. Okay, so now I'm sure because we talked about it, but what's his? My brain just shut off. Their backup quarterback, Taysom Hill. Okay, signed the most unique 4-year extension I've ever heard. He's going to get $40 million over the next 4 years if he stays their backup and does the Wildcat stuff. He's going to get $95 million if he becomes their starting quarterback. I've never heard of anything, but hey, good for him. But this is what I can say. He just signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract. I think you're going to see a lot of Mr. Hill, okay? And I think you're going to see a lot of him tomorrow, okay? So where do I see this game? I think the Bills, it's a big ask for them to get routed at home, fly down on Turkey Day. Now, this is not a team that typically plays on Thanksgiving. So this takes a couple of years to get used to it. So I actually like the Saints here getting the 6 and a hook. And as far as the points total, I think we're going over, okay? I like the over 45, and I'm going to take the Saints getting the 6 and a hook.
I'll have to disagree. I'd agree if it was 7 and a hook. I don't think. I mean, I think Buffalo's going to win by a touchdown. I don't. But you know what? Yeah, that Taysom Hill contract it's almost like you got to read it 3 times, like a Bobby Bonilla contract or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, I'm going to have my salary deferred to $1 million a year and deferred over 30 years, and come to find out it's the smartest contract in sports history. The Bobby Bonilla. Google it after this show, folks. Bobby Bonilla contract, and you'll be scratching your head like, this is ingenious. Okay, well, I'd be remiss if I didn't cover the New York Football Giants. Philadelphia Eagles roll into town. They come in as one of the hottest teams going right now. It's the Jalen Hurts show. They're 5-6, second to Dallas in the NFL East. East. Giants are 3-7, and quite frankly, I'm surprised they got 3 wins. And I'm a Giants guy, but Hurts is really finding his stride. He's got 2,306 passing yards. He's got 618 rushing yards. He's eighth, not for rushing quarterbacks. He's 8th in rushing in the league.
Yeah.
Regardless, quarterback, running back, fullback. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns, which is 5th in the league. 13 TDs through the air, 8 on the ground. He's got 5 picks, which, you know what? He's still a very young quarterback. He's 9th in the league in yards rushing. He's coming in. He's finding his stride, and he faces a Giants team which has been decimated by injuries. But again, I'm not making an excuse. The Joe Judge experiment thus far is spotty at best. I really thought by bringing Jason Garrett in to be the offensive coordinator, they would be. I like Jason Garrett. I liked him as a head coach of Dallas. He had no control because of Jerry. That's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones controls to the day he's out of there.
Of course.
But I liked Jason Garrett's demeanor. I like he's cool under pressure. But what's really happening with the Giants is you're seeing the lack of talent. Saquon Barkley, he played last week. Very limited touches, like I had said last week. He'll get more touches this week, but he's not Saquon yet. Maybe 22-23 season, he'll be Saquon. But right now, it's almost like he rushed back 3 or 4 weeks early, and now the Giants are paying for it. He has these little nagging, lingering injuries. Obviously, when he's healthy, he's one of the top backs in the league. But Giants don't have him. They're down. Tony, I mean, look at Dallas. Danny Jones has 9 touchdowns through the air. He's got 7 picks. Booker leads the team with a dismal 330 yards rushing. Now, remember what I said earlier. Jalen Hurts has 618 yards rushing. He's a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Okay, so he's almost got double what Booker has. So when your team leading rusher on week number 12 has 330 yards, you know that there was A, an injury, B, you stink, or C, a little of both. And that's what the Giants are right now, right? A little bit of both. Yeah. I really, man, I can't wait till the day that I can say, I see the Giants putting a beat down on Philly. Unfortunately, I see Philly putting a beat down on the Giants. Philly's coming in rolling right now. They're hitting their stride. Now the over-under's 46. Again, you're not going to get much from the Giants. You're going to get 10 to 17 points for the Giants. So is Philly going to score 29, 30 points? There's a possibility. I don't think anybody's going to stop Jalen Hurts. I think when they get in the red zone, Hurts is going to look for himself first. He's going to look for rush first, pass second. Yeah. And I don't think Giants can get anybody to stop him. So the red zone, red down territory for the Giants this coming week against Philly is going to be interesting at best. So obviously I'm going to take Philly. I mean, they're a 4-point favorite. You could put 14-point favorite, and I'd still take Philly. Philly would cover even if it was 14 points. The Giants are that bad, folks. 3-7, and it's not getting any better. I mean, obviously, Daniel Jones isn't going to go anywhere. You have Sterling Shepard. You have Evan Ingram at tight end. Barkley's your mainstay in the back. Yes, they have a ton of injuries, but on this show we never make excuses for the team with injuries because injuries are part of the game. Yeah. But Giants are not a good football team right now. They're going to lose. They are 1-4 at home. You're talking East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Giants usually dominate. So unfortunately, they're going to go 1-5. I'm taking Philly, and I'm going to take the under on that.
All right. So
just because the Giants can't score.
They can't score, right? Okay. So Coach Judge decides to fire Jason Garrett, right? So he's the reason why they can't score. He's the reason why they can't move the ball. The Giants were kind of at the bottom of every statistic in offense. Okay. My question to you is, does Coach Judge make it through the season?
Well, let me rewind a little bit. I don't think Judge has the authority to fire Garrett. I think the GM would have to do that. I think, he's got to be kind of like Flores with Dolphins, who I think you're going to talk about them next. They got to be on the hot seat, right? The National Football League is a league of what did you do last week? How
win or get fired, right?
Doesn't matter what you did last year. How are we doing right now? What's our record right now? How are we playing? It's a huge league of right now, not future or past. So Judge, I don't listen. If the Giants somehow miraculously don't finish at 500 this year, which I think you and I both know that's not going to happen, I think he has to be considered to be replaced. You have to either A, search for a experienced, seasoned head coach. They're out there. There are some coaches that you might be able to lure out of quote unquote commentator retirement. But you need somebody with proven results there. The Giants are lost. The last time the Giants were ultra successful, you had who? Tom Coughlin. He was a mainstay with the Jacksonville Jaguars for many years before he went to the Giants. So I think, long story short, again, I think Judge has to be, no pun intended, judged this year. It's a make or break year.
I agree.
Make or break year. I also think that the Maras who own the team, it might not be a bad idea to think about maybe you want to ride off in the sunset and, it's an extremely old team owners. I don't mean old age-wise. They are up there, but the family has owned the Giants for many years. Yeah. So it might be time, new blood in there, ownership. You might just put a breath of fresh air in the Giants. They are awful. You watch the Giants, and
It's hard to watch.
I have no. It is.
hard to watch.
It's almost. It's.
Yeah.
They're not as bad as the Lions, but I'm gonna tell you what. I mean, I just don't see a lot of upside right now for the Giants unless they get Barkley back 100% and they get some sort of offensive line continuity. They have none.
I think they need a total renovation, or what, I don't know what the right word is, but that was hard to watch Monday night against the Bucs. They're a bad team.
It was a comedy of errors for sure. So I'm picking Philly and the under.
Eagles and the under. Okay.
Yep.
All right. My last spotlight play on the board for the NFL this week. Carolina Panthers favored by 1.5 on the road. They travel to take on the Miami Dolphins. Points total set at 42. All right. Panthers come into this game 5-6. They're 3-2 on the road. Week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, they signed Superman, right? Cam Newton. Superman's back. They're going to go on a run. They're going to win a bunch of football games. You know, he's going to change everything, right? Not only that, he's going to travel to take on Washington. It's his old coach. He knows him. They're going to win. Superman's back. Not so fast as Lee Corso would say. It looks like Ron Rivera might have been his kryptonite, Eric, because Superman didn't play that well. Okay, he really didn't. Taylor Heineke, who I like to call Heineken on the show because it just sounds better and I like the beer, outplayed Superman last week. And because of that, the Washington no-names came home with a victory 27-21. Okay, now look at the Dolphins. 4-7 on the year. They're winners of 3 straight. 3 straight. Last week, one of my top plays, -3, they beat the Jets. Could have been a trap game playing against the lowly Jets, but they did what they had to do. They won the game, and they covered. If everyone remembers 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said the Dolphins were playing the Ravens. Okay, I said if the Dolphins win this game, it's going to be a turning point, and they're going to run off 3 or 4 wins in a row. Well, so far that's been happening. I got to stay on them, Eric. I think they're a hot team. Like you mentioned earlier, they're playing for their coach. Their coach his life is on the line here.
Oh, yeah.
The players like him. Okay, they really like this guy. Now, Tua's been back too the last 2.5 weeks. Okay, he's a leader. Okay, may not be the best quarterback in the league. He's still young, learning the league, but he's a leader. The players rally around him, and don't forget that Deshaun Watson cloud is gone. There's no more talk about, well, are they going to bring in Deshaun? Is Tua out? I honestly think that bothered him. And maybe it should. Maybe it lit a fire under America. I don't know. But now that Deshaun talk is gone, Tua seems a bit more relaxed. And he's playing some good football. So what do I like here? I like Miami getting the 1.5 at home, okay? And I also like the over here. I think you're going to see some points. So I'm going over 42 and give me the Dolphins getting 1.5 at home.
Well, I agree. They're star position players. Gaskin at running back, Gesicki at tight end, Tua. I mean, they start clicking, and who knows? I think they can put some points up. They're going to be deadly, I think, in the red zone once Tua finds Gesicki and once they start hooking up kind of like Kelsey and Mahomes type of deal, Don't forget the curse of South Beach. I think the folks from Carolina are going to go down, have a little fun in the sun, and they're going to forget about the football game. So Dolphins and over 42. A little bit.
All right. So that's our NFL picks. Eric, what do you got? We're going to move to a little NBA, a little boxing. What do you got on tap for?
Yeah, let me start out with a little bit of boxing. It's been a big month in boxing, and I bought the Bud Crawford versus Sean Porter fight that happened last Saturday. When I previewed that fight 3 or 4 weeks ago, now I can't remember exactly when. The thing they were saying about Bud Crawford, who was 38-0 going into the fight, he had 18 KOs, is that his opposition was weak. Never really fought any
right?
huge name fighters, and he claims as a boxer it's never your fault. Everybody's ducking me and so on and so forth. And a lot of the media, they weren't buying that. They're like, well, you could have fought this guy, you ducked him. You could have fought that guy. Well, Showtime Sean Porter rolls in, 2-time welterweight champion of the world, by the way. He is a guy who has fought all of the big stars, hasn't had the best luck, 2-4 in championship matches up until Saturday. He came in. Both fighters are trained by their dads. And, this will definitely be Crawford's toughest match, without a doubt. And this would shut up the critics. He puts a good performance on. He really, he does some clean boxing. It would shut the critics up. So, Porter's known to start very, very quickly, and Crawford's known to take a few rounds to get to know you and stuff. And that played out. First 6 or 7 rounds, they were back and forth. I mean, I had 4-2 Crawford after 6. Second half of the fight, I saw Crawford step it up a little bit. He was starting to get the feints and the jabs, being able to duck them from Porter and countering with a straight left and a right hook at times, going to Porter's body. And then now Porter had 2 losses, never been stopped though, never been KO'd. And so 11th round comes around, or the 10th round, Crawford starts rocking Porter, getting in there, and those you could tell those punches were thrown with bad intentions. And Porter, looked over a couple times to his corner, to his dad, kind of like, okay, this is a real deal here. 11th round, he goes down. He gets hit with a pot shot, and he went down right on his rump. And he was surprised as anybody, I think. So he got up, count of 3, count of 4, he got up, but you have to have a mandatory standing 8 count. Crawford goes to neutral corner, and the whole time Porter's looking at his dad's corner. I don't know if he's looking for advice or what he's looking for, but so they continue continue boxing. Referee deemed Porter okay. And again, Porter is a championship level fighter. And Crawford, he held back a little bit for the first 10 seconds after his first knockdown, and then he went for it, and accurate shot after accurate shot, and he knocked Porter down again, and it was a vicious knockdown. And Porter was on his knees, his hands and knees, and he was banging the ring floor, the canvas, with his fist, like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened, And his dad had seen enough, and his dad got up on the apron and threw the towel in. Now Porter got up before the count of 10, and the ref was checking and make sure you're okay, and Porter saw the towel, or Porter saw his dad up on the apron waving his hands. And of course, he was visibly upset. But what I really love about, and of course, congratulations to Crawford, a very, very good win for Bud Crawford. And I got to give Porter credit, because he really didn't want to talk about it. Of course, your dad steps in. Of course, every boxer thinks they're fine. They're fine to go on. I'm good.
Yeah.
But his dad's, and one of the craziest things I've seen in boxing was they asked Jim Gray for Showtime, I think it was Showtime. Anyway, asked Porter's father, the trainer, why did you stop the fight? And he looked at his son and said, well, if he did what I told him in training camp, we wouldn't be in this position. But the reporter was kind of like taken back a little bit. And then, of course they pan to Porter, and he has no expression on his face. And then his dad says, when you get to a level like Sean is, you think you know everything. And you lose the basics. You think you know more than the trainers. And then Porter shakes his head like, yeah, you know what? That's what I did, Dad. So it was really a poignant moment, because it's the first time ever, Sean mentioned to the reporter that, my dad and I really had never talked about him stopping the fight. But we had a gentleman's agreement that if you saw something that you didn't like, you have all the power to stop it. It was really a poignant moment for father-son, because I'm glad he stopped it, because Bud Crawford was laser sharp, and he is the real deal. And the funny thing is, there's a boxer named Errol Spence, who's the champion in the other sanctioning body, same weight class. He was at the fight after vowing to never be at a Bud Crawford fight, because, quote unquote, Bud Crawford doesn't fight anybody worth a darn. So why would I waste my time? Well, he was at that fight, and as soon as the fight was over, he shook his head and left. So the whole boxing community obviously is hoping for a Bud Crawford Errol Spence unification fight. So congratulations to Bud Crawford. He beats his best opponent so far. So That's a quick
And
boxing
for
wrap
those
up
that
on
don't forget,
Crawford.
Eric called that fight too, so you would have been cashing tickets had you
Yep.
tuned in a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. So, you want to do a little college b-ball or football? Excuse me.
All right, little college football. All right, I got 3 games on the board. Okay, and one of the games I think you're gonna like because it's a team that has red and they like corn. But I think you can figure out who I'm gonna talk
I know who
about.
that is.
Sure. All right. Anyways, all right. So first game I have on my spotlight board is Ole Miss, number 9 in the country, on the road to take on a hated rival, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Bulldogs are favored by 1.5 at home. Points total set at 62. Now, Eric, this line opened up at 2.5. 24 hours later, it dropped to 1.5. Somebody put a lot of dimes on Ole Miss. Somebody out there knows something, or they think they do. Okay. Now, Ole Miss, they're winners of 3 straight. Last week, it was a tune-up game. They played Vanderbilt, kind of knocked them out 31-17. Game wasn't really that close. Vanderbilt had a couple late scores. Backups were in. So good game by Matt Corral. Still in the Heisman running. Last week, 326 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns. Now he's still behind C.J. Stroud from Ohio State and Bryce Young, Alabama. Those 2 are still the favorites.
What a game Stroud had, huh? Oof.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's right now, he's the favorite, I think, to win the Heisman. Okay. But there's still some games to be played. So Matt Corral, he's not out of it, but he's got to keep putting up some numbers. Mississippi State, they come into this game 7-4. They're winners of 2 straight. They also had a warm-up game last week against Tennessee State. Who? Yeah, Tennessee State, whatever. 55-10. Just rolled them. Absolutely rolled them. Will Rogers, their quarterback, he's only a sophomore, 390 yards, 5 touchdowns. So far on the year, Eric, he's got over 4,000 yards passing, 34 touchdowns. Remember this kid's name. He's going to be a Heisman candidate next year. Okay. All right. So Tennessee State, that's a nobody. What did they do the week before? Auburn. They beat Auburn. So Mississippi State's playing some good football. All right. What's this rivalry called? It's called the Egg Bowl, EGG. I have no idea. It's a cool name. That's what they went with. Anyways, this is the 117th meeting, Eric. Pretty phenomenal, right? Started back in 1901, 2 years before I was born. Not bad. So last year, actually, my grandmother. I look pretty good for 127, whatever I am. Last year, Ole Miss won at home, 31-24. Okay, this game to me is basically a pick 'em. Okay, Mississippi State 1.5 at home. Ole Miss comes in, rivalry game. So throw everything out. It's a pick 'em. So when I get pick 'em games like this, I go with the better offense, okay? Mississippi has the better offense. So I like Mississippi here getting 1.5. As far as the points total, 62, I'm going way over that total. So give me Ole Miss getting the points, and I'm going over 62.
Wow.
All right. Yep.
It would be a fireworks show, huh?
It is. And that's the only college game on tomorrow. All right, that game is typically on Thanksgiving, so that's a standalone game for college. So that's going to be fun to watch. All right, next game. I kind of already alluded to it, a little bit about Nebraska Cornhuskers. All right, so Iowa, number 16 in the country, on the road, favored by 1.5, going to take on Nebraska. Points total set at 41. Iowa is 9-2 on the season. They're 6-2 in the conference. All right, they still have a shot of winning the Big Ten West. Right now they're tied with Wisconsin. Both teams 6-2. Iowa's winners of 3 straight. Last week they knocked off Illinois 33-23. Now, Iowa is a run-first team, 177 yards on the ground, 115 in the air. Not a very prolific offense by any means. They're scoring 25 points a game. They're letting up 19. Now we're going to move to Eric's Nebraska Huskers, okay? Reason I say Eric's, well, he lived out there for many years, so he does bleed red, and he definitely follows the Huskers regardless of their record. Well, they come in 3-8, okay? Unfortunately, they're losers of 5 straight. They were 3-3, and then they just kind of, unfortunately, they just didn't have enough in the tank. Last week, Eric, very, very valiant effort, lost 35-28 to Wisconsin. We've talked about them all year. They don't give up, Eric. They
No.
don't. Okay. Now they're short on talent. They're not short on heart. I'll give them that. There's no doubt. Okay. Now their quarterback Adrian Martinez was phenomenal last week. 351 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. But the blip on the radar, 2 picks, and that was the difference in the game. You texted me because you were watching it, and when he threw that second pick, that was pretty much lights out. Okay. Now, he's not playing this week. He's got a shoulder injury. All right. So Logan Smothers, Logan Smothers is going to get the start. Okay. Okay. So this line opened Nebraska favored by 3.5. As soon as Martinez was labeled as out, the line moved to 1.5 the other way. That's a big
Wow.
move. And I think it's too much. We
5
agree,
points,
right? I just, that's too big. Nebraska at home, you made it perfectly clear to me, regardless of their record. You said senior game, last game, they go all out.
Yep.
There's a certain pride there. And I think, again, this is their last game of the year, senior day there. Nebraska, they're going to run the ball. They're going to keep this game close. I'm taking Nebraska here at home, getting a 1.5. As far as the points total, I look for a ground game. I'm going under, Eric. I'm going under 41, but I do like the Cornhuskers here. I think you'd like that play.
Under
like
40,
that play?
under 41. Wow.
Under 41, okay?
Cornhuskers are the New York Giants of college football, huh?
There you go. All right. My last spotlight game for college is Missouri Tigers on the road travel to take on the Arizona Arkansas Razorbacks. Razorbacks are favored by 14 at home. Points total set 62 and a hook. All right, the Tigers. Missouri comes into this game 6-5. They're coming off an exciting thriller overtime win against Florida, 24-23. Well, that win sealed Florida head coach Dan Mullen's tenure. And when I mean sealed, it sealed him out the door because he was literally fired immediately after the game. Arkansas last week, they basically went toe-to-toe with Bama, okay? They were not pushed around. They put up 35. Now, they lost 42-35. But you put up 35 points against Bama, you did something, okay? So Arkansas, they're a tough team. They're a tough team. Considering last year they were 3-7, okay? So far this year, Eric, 7-4. If they win this game and maybe a bowl game, that's 9 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a phenomenal turnaround. So, All right, so I look at this game. They call it now the Battle Line Rivalry. Kind of a cool name, right? Because they share, I guess, a boundary, whatever it is. Last 5 meetings, Missouri has won all 5. Last year was a thrilling 50-48 victory. All right. Now I look here. Arizona has one of the best offenses in the SEC. Missouri, one of the worst defenses in the SEC. So how do I break this down? Arkansas at home. I'm going to lay the 14. Arkansas is going to break that 5-game losing streak to Missouri. So they're going to cover this game. They're going to win this game. As far as the points total, 62 and a hook. Again, I'm looking up. I like Arkansas. Wow. And I like over 62 and a hook.
Wow, those guys going to be flowing through the air, huh?
I think it's going to be a fun game. Going to be a fun game.
All righty, so let's talk about the National Basketball Association. We don't talk about that
Let's go to the
as much as we're going to in future broadcasts, but no games tomorrow, being Thanksgiving. We're going to look at 2 games going to be played Friday evening. The Boston Celtics traveled all the way down to San Antonio, Texas, to battle the Spurs. Celtics are actually starting to catch fire here. They're second in the Atlantic Conference, Atlantic Division, which they were 4th or 5th just a few weeks ago. So they come in 10-8. Spurs are definitely in a rebuilding phase of their franchise. They're 4-12. Of course, that franchise has had incredible success, multiple finals championships. Greg Popovich has been an incredible coach. Yesterday, Celtics had an 18-point win and handed the Rockets their 15th straight loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rockets.
Ouch.
Yeah. Celtics 12th in the league in scoring, average 108.3 points per contest. And their point guard pickup over the course of the offseason was Dennis Schroeder, and he is phenomenal. He's having a breakout year. He's getting a lot of playing time. I've always loved his scrappiness. He's ultra quick. He's good from the free throw line. He can penetrate. He can shoot to three, although Schroeder's almost more old school than, the new style NBA is you shoot a three-pointer every single time you get the possession of the ball. Schroeder, you could tell he really wants to set up some plays and some half-court offense. It's a run-and-gun league, but I like Schroeder because he gets in the paint more than he gets on the three-pointers. Unfortunately, Robert Williams is the team's leading rebounder. He is out for Friday's game. But here's an interesting stat. Now, DeJounte Murray for the Spurs leads the team in all four major categories: points, rebounds, assists, and steal. So you know how to stop the San Antonio Spurs? You stop Murray.
Yeah.
And he's a point guard. Who's gonna be on Murray? Probably one of the top three defenders in the NBA. Guy named Marcus Smart, who basically he could defend Shaq or he could defend Tiny Archibald back in the day. The guy is fearless on defense.
Yeah.
So he's gonna stop Murray. Murray's proven the offense, the entire team's performance goes through Murray. Celtics are gonna come up big. They're gonna improve to 11-8. They're gonna have a double-digit win. There is no line out for this game yet, but it could be double digits. Celtics are going to win. I'm thinking like a 114-89, something, a big win. San Antonio is just not that good. And talking about teams that are not that good, actually talking about teams that flat out stink, we'll turn our attention to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oof. PU.
They're going up. Yeah, they're going to go to Salt Lake City for an extremely hard contest against the Utah Jazz. Now, Pelicans are 3-16 overall. They're 1-9 away. Utah's 11-6 with 6-3 at home. Again, there's no Zion Williamson. I don't know when the timetable for his return is. He's gained a tremendous amount of weight. Last I heard, he was 313 pounds. Yeah, he's a big dude. He played last year at 282, but that's still 30 pounds heavy.
Yeah.
So what's that translate to, Patrick? Knee problems, ankle problems, fatigue. The only thing he has going for him is that he's 21 years old. But, he reminds me so much of another guy who carried a lot of weight, Larry Johnson. Ended up having back problems. Great player, great skills, but it really relegated him to a 9-year NBA career, and it was 6 potent years and 3, so-so years. Zion needs to get down in the 240, 250 range. I think he can get there and still have the upper body mass, but he really needs to show the dedication. His teammates are furious with him, especially when
the management's not too happy either.
Especially when he says he doesn't want to play in New Orleans. It's like
bye-bye.
Zion, don't be a head case, okay? Yeah. You got Brandon Ingram. You're gonna have the Pelicans aren't afraid of spending money. Go through a couple years where it's you got a little bit of growing pains. It's your team. You have a great second option in Brandon Ingram, who came over from the Lakers a couple years ago. Who knew he was going to turn out like he did? You have.
They got a great fan base down there too. They're pretty loyal fans. You know
Actually,
what I mean?
I think that did Ingram get traded? I'm trying to think. Did he go to the Washington? I can't remember now. There's been so many trades. But it's Zion's team, and he has to know that he really can take these rookies and these younger players just like himself, on his shoulders. This is my team, but you know what? He deflects, and why? Because everybody wants a championship now. It's the mentality of wanting something and not working for it. And will it happen? Yeah. The Pelicans are gonna probably get rid of him at some point soon.
Oh yeah.
They'll get some good players for him, but it's like, man, I just wish these players would realize they got a winning scratch ticket for life. Play your best for the New Orleans Pelicans. Build your fan base up, Zion. I plead with you. You guys are gonna get hammered in Utah. They're gonna come back 1-10. They're gonna lose. I'm looking at 20 to 30 points, Patrick. I think Bogdanovic for Utah is gonna have a monster game. I don't see this being a contest at all. Jazz are going to win by double digits, easy.
So you got the Celtics winning by 20 plus. You got Utah winning by 20. I mean, again, we're giving you a pre-breakdown without a line, but
I don't think these are going to be a close game. No, these lines won't touch it. You know, you could bet and whatever the over/under is, bet the over.
Yeah. And Ingram is still on the Pelicans. Yes. I mean, you got me as soon as you said it, I'm like, wait a minute. So yes, he's still there. So you got Ingram waiting for Zion to come back.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, they would be a very potent 1-2 punch if Zion gets his head out of his butt, you know?
Yeah.
But Zion has people in his ear, and
it's too bad because you know what? They could be a good team if his head was on straight and he actually put in some work. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he doesn't work. But
it's startling if you look at the team pictures. Every year before the season starts, each player gets his picture taken, kind of like a team, advertisement. You know, they use it in certain situations. It's basically holding the ball or you're dribbling or simulating a shot or whatever. And Zion happened to have almost a similar pose from 2 years ago to this year, and it's startling. It's like, you know, he came in from Duke, chiseled, 282 pounds with like between a 3 and 5% body fat. Now it's the muscle definition's gone. He literally has another chin, and I'm not picking on the kid.
No.
But at this point, you're a professional athlete. You're an elite professional athlete. You're a world famous athlete at 20 years old. Somebody has to take him around his shoulders and just say, come with me. We need to talk about your conditioning going forward. And New Orleans needs to put him on extra conditioning. And he has to realize that by doing that, you're going to extend your playing career 7 to 10 years, Zion. I mean, you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer if you shed that baby weight, that baby fat.
But he's got to play more than 5 years in the NBA to get there, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, you know, at his current weight, I'm seeing knee injuries, I'm seeing ankle injuries, I'm seeing lower back strains, I'm seeing a Larry Johnson career, all over again. And Zion today's technology is better than when Johnson played in the 90s. You know.
Yeah. Listen, he's missed a quarter of the games this year. I mean, the Pelicans, their season is over.
Zion hasn't played this year, so
he hasn't played.
No.
You know what I mean? So I mean, listen. It's what you do on the court, not what you do off, and he hasn't contributed anything. So
nothing. But yet he has. Yet the people in his ear are convincing him to complain. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Anyway, Pelicans are not going to have any fun in Utah. Utah's going to run away with it.
Gotcha. All right, so I think that's going to put a wrap on pre-Thanksgiving Eve picks and plays.
I think so, buddy.
So we're going to head to the exits, as we like to say. So, hey, folks, listen, again, hopefully you're tuning in. As Eric said, go to our website, 7indahook.com. Check out all our socials, 7 in a Hook, everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and go to YouTube. Give us a subscribe. So hopefully you paid attention. Hopefully you wrote down what we did, and you go cash some tickets and beat up those bookies. So
make some money.
Make some money. That's what it's all about. Eric, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you, Patrick.
Happy Thanksgiving to all our listeners out there in 7 in a Hook podcast land. So we're going to call it a day. So, hey, listen, as we always say, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.
Thanks again for tuning in to the 7 in a Hook podcast. Until next time, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.